Look, if you told me back in 2012, 2013, around that time frame, that an Aquaman movie would be one of the best modern day DC films, I would have called you crazy, probably. Aquaman was released in 2018, directed by James Wan, starring Jason Momoa, Amber Heard, Willem Dafoe, Patrick Wilson, Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, Tamora Morrison, and Nicole Kidman. Yeah, Aquaman has... I'm not even going to sit here and pretend like Aquaman has always been one of my favorite characters of all time. I didn't even start getting into Aquaman until around 2015, and I started realizing this character is actually pretty cool. So when I found out that they're actually making an Aquaman movie, I was willing to check it out. And then when it came out in 2018, I went and saw it, and I was absolutely blown away by it. So let's go ahead and start this review off. Starting with the good, and in my opinion, there's a lot to love in this movie. I know that this movie's very mixed among the DC fan base and comic book fan base in general, but I really enjoy this movie. Starting off, first of all, you have Jason Momoa as Aquaman. Obviously, like I said in my Justice League review, this has easily become one of the most beloved DCEU portrayals of a superhero. Jason Momoa just does a terrific job as Arthur Curry, Aquaman, in this movie. And I'm really excited to see where he takes the role again in the second movie in December. Whether or not he comes back after that remains to be seen. I don't know what James Gunn is doing with that whole thing, but either way, really love Jason Momoa in this movie. This is probably my favorite portrayal of Aquaman by him. Just really fun performance, very energetic. And then you have Willem Dafoe in this movie. He's good. He's Willem Dafoe. He's always good and watchable. He's probably the least consequential character to the story, but he still does a really good job. And, okay, elephant in the room, I don't mind Amber Heard as Mera in this movie. I know there's that whole drama with the Johnny Depp situation, but I liked her as Mera before all that shit started coming out. I'm not just gonna all of a sudden start pretending like I didn't like her in the role after all the Johnny Depp shit started. So I actually liked her in this movie. She was pretty good. I've never been a huge fan of Amber Heard as an actress, but she was serviceable as Mera, so I give her a pass here. And then you have Tamora Morrison as Aquaman's father, and he's not in it a whole bunch, but it's Tamora Morrison. This is fucking Jango Fett, Boba Fett, all the clones. He's just a really great actor. He's got great range. I really like his couple scenes in this movie. And Nicole Kidman plays Aquaman's mother, and she does a really good job as well. She's also not in it a whole bunch, but you still get a couple really good scenes with her. And then finally you have two villains in this movie. The first villain, the main villain, is King Orm, or Ocean Master, played by Patrick Wilson. And I've never been a fan of Ocean Master in the comics. I've always much preferred Black Manta as Aquaman's main villain, but I actually enjoyed Patrick Wilson's portrayal of Ocean Master in this movie. It's campy, it's corny, it's goofy. Some of the dialogue is probably purposely bad, but that's part of the charm of his portrayal in this movie. It's just goofy and fun to watch. He chews up the scenery when he's on screen. And also you have the second villain, and that is Black Manta, played by Yahya Abdul-Mateen II. And this guy is an absolute beast. I love this portrayal of Black Manta. I'm really excited to see where they take this character in the second movie. Apparently he's supposed to be the main villain, but maybe some things changed, but I hope not. I'm really excited to see him back. His action scene in this movie, fighting against Aquaman around the halfway point, probably my favorite action scene in the entire movie. Just really great tracking shots and really great, intimidating performance from Yahya Abdul-Mateen II. You really feel the grudge he has against Aquaman. So yeah, just really, really great villain. And aside from the characters and the acting, the story here is actually pretty good. It's a globe-trotting action adventure with Aquaman and Mera going on a quest to find the lost trident of Atlan. And it's just a really fun adventure. You go from location to location, set piece to set piece, and everything is just filmed gorgeously. That's one thing I love about James Wan. He has an eye for cinematography, and the cinematography in this movie is terrific. Also, the visual effects, probably the best visual effects I've seen in any comic book movie this side of the 2010s. Still really holds up, and for a character as campy as Aquaman is, I really love the fact that this movie leans into the campiness of the character and the aspects of what makes the character campy. Just a lot of fun. The action scenes are great. That's another thing that feeds into the campiness of this movie, and it just works for this movie, like I said. And then you have the score, which is also really good. And that's about all for the good. On to the bad. And there's one or two things that drag this movie down. First of all, you have this scene at some point in the movie where Willem Dafoe's character is training Arthur as a teenager. And the guy that they had playing Arthur as a teenager, his acting was just a little wooden for me. Also, I did not like that stupid Pitbull remix of Africa by Toto. I've always found Africa to be one of my least favorite songs of all time. And then a Pitbull remix of it just does not help it at all. But that's about all for the bad. On to the final thoughts. I still really love this movie, despite all the legal issues that a certain star of this movie has recently gotten into. I'm not going to get into that whole situation, but I just can't find myself to dislike this movie. So Aquaman still holds up for me. It's still such a fun movie, and I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. So that was my thoughts on Aquaman. Have you seen this movie? Let me know down in the comments what you thought about it. As always, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.